Yeah.
Oh, man. We have a great show for you. We are going to get to some top stories. That includes that Jacksonville State win over Florida State.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
Plenty more. We've got reactions to everything. High school football, college football, the Titans, Braves. We're going to have to spread this out a little bit because we can't get all of our reactions in 15 minutes. And so Reaction Tuesday may also be a thing because we'll still be reacting throughout the entire week, I'm sure, at least until we get to Thursday when we talk about this coming week's games and Friday.
Some reactions are going to take longer than others, that's for sure.
Certainly. So we will get to all those top stories and reactions as quickly as we can because we have so many. So why don't we get you now to the rundown?
This is The Rundown. The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy, providing a Christ-centered college prep education at an affordable cost. Call 931-388-5731 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule an appointment for a tour today.
In Friday night high school football action, Franklin Christian ruined Zion Christian's homecoming to the tune of a 47-16 decision. It was Giles County 36, Franklin County 18. Cascade defeated Huntland 28-17. Columbia Central fell 28-14 at Green Hill, and Lawrence County blanked Greenbrier 21-0.
Loretto defeated Wayne County 41-14. It was Richland 42, Hickman County 7. We'll talk about that later for sure. Summertown a 40-27 win over Collinwood. Lewis County over Spring Hill 23-16. Summit raced Blackman 55-20. It was Pope Prep 56, Indy 38. And Franklin Road Academy a 49-13 winner over Columbia Academy.
In volleyball action on Friday, Summertown defeated Clinton 2-0 and Athens Chapel Hill 2-0, while Hampshire blanked Santa Fe 3-2. On Saturday, Summertown defeated Logan County, Kentucky 2-1 and Lebanon 2-0 before falling to Musselman of West Virginia 2-0.
How good is Musselman, West Virginia?
Pretty dang.
Must be. Girls soccer action as well on Saturday. Columbia Central a 6-1 winner over Lawrence County. Volleyball action tonight. Franklin Road Academy at Columbia Academy. That's at 5:30. Also at 5:30, Mount Pleasant hosting Marshall County. At 6 o'clock tonight, Hickman County is at Columbia Central. Loretto hosts Lawrence County, and Zion Christian hosts Webb Bell Buckle. And at times unknown, East Hickman is at Hampshire. Lebanon is at Independence.
I want to remind everyone that Marshall County Mount Pleasant game is a fundraiser for Center of Hope. So if you get a chance, be sure and get out for that. They're going to be raffling off a drone, among other things. In girls soccer action tonight, Culleoka travels to Huntland for a 6 o'clock first touch, and Columbia Central is at Shelbyville, 7 o'clock start. In golf, Hampshire and Summertown are on the links at Dixie Oaks, currently started at 3:30. And also a 4 o'clock start for Fairview, Hickman County, and Santa Fe over at Mount Pleasant Golf Club. Cross country today, Zion Christian is running at the Hermitage at 5 o'clock.
There you have it. That is your Monday Rundown on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. I would like to formally amend my last week's top 5 to include a co-number 1 in college football upsets to include Jacksonville State over Florida State on Saturday night. Listen, you guys had more confidence than I did. I mean, we're in the group chat, and JP's like, y'all still got a chance. And Mo's over here like, oh, it's not over yet. And I'm like, y'all are crazy. Like, there's no way.
You owe Zarek Cooper a public apology.
I don't know about that. I've not publicly accosted him, but
you certainly have privately.
Certainly. Well, and to be fair, I mean, he wasn't really great on the last drive. He was great on the last throw. He could not have thrown that any better. Zarek Cooper could not have thrown that last pass any better than he threw it. It was in the perfect spot between the cornerback and the safety. Guy goes and gets it and then makes a play, and then I can't remember who the guy was that made the block at the end, but he's the one who sprung it for the touchdown. I mean, he may not have scored if the other receiver doesn't make the block. So
Turn my mic on there.
That's a good idea.
Oh, I'm glad to see you do it to yourself.
See, equal opportunist.
all three of us have now tried to talk into dead mics. That's good. We're back.
Chris, I just did that to make him feel better. All right. By the way, the look, that's good. Have you heard the call from Mike Paris?
Of course, I've heard the Mike Paris call, but we should definitely play it.
You want me to play it?
Because, well, here's the thing about Mike Paris will not get excited until
It's over.
Listen to him make the call up until he hits the end zone. You think he's going to get tackled at any moment. The game's over. But when he hits the end zone, just play it.
All right,
Like
from
to hear it, here it go.
Jacksonville State Gamecocks Radio Network.
Snap to Cooper. Looking down the field. He's got a man. Caught it. He's free. Phil Johnson at the 10. At the 5. Touchdown! 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 There are no flags. Touchdown pass on the final snap of the game. Jacksonville State has won it.
There you go.
It cracks me up, man, because the Florida State call is so it's almost the same way. He's just like, all right, well, that's the game. And
Did you hear the Florida State color guy?
The color guy's going crazy. He's
Are
so
you
mad.
serious?
I just told you not to do this.
Did he pull a Tim Priest?
He threw his headset
He
down.
did throw his headset down.
Man.
It was nuts. But yeah, you guys
I
had
can't
more
blame him.
confidence. No, absolutely. Mike Norvell's comment afterwards was, well, they still had a timeout left. That was what he said. He said they still had a timeout left. They could have kicked a field goal to send it in overtime. Exactly right. They could have kicked a field goal to send it into overtime. The one thing that can beat you is a touchdown, and you're not protecting against that. What are you doing? Like,
Here's what's funny. So Zarek Cooper, as you pointed out before, Clemson transfer.
yes.
Phil Johnson, Duke transfer.
I did not know that. That's interesting. And the thing about Cooper is that he just tries not to make mistakes. And so on that last drive, we're starting at like the 20 and he's dinking and dunking 7-8 yards. And then I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know that he can throw it 55 yards. Well, he didn't have to. He only had to throw it 45 yards and the guy ran in the other 10. So it worked out. But yeah, that was crazy. I can't believe Mike Norvell. I don't know what the man was thinking. And then to go into the press conference and say, well, they still had a timeout left. And guess what? They still do have a timeout left. They packed that up and sent it to Jacksonville.
They took it with them.
They did.
Yeah.
They said, you can't take it with you. Well, he's going to.
That timeout is on the bus along with that, what, 650?
400.
Is that all?
All we got was 400. But it's like the
All you got was 400.
and a win.
And a win.
And a dub. Yeah. Florida State previously was 97-0 when favored by more than 27 points. There was 27.5 point favorite on Saturday night, and I couldn't believe it. Like I said, you guys had more confidence in them than I did, but it's nuts.
J State covered and didn't need the hook.
They did, in fact, cover. I probably would not have bet on that one, but I did make some cash on that Tennessee State Jackson State game. I'm not gonna lie. Tennessee State being favored was crazy.
Clearly.
But anyway, we have some not breaking news, but news that you can only find.
There are people that would call it breaking.
News you can only find here and on MainStreetMurray.com involving a local high school football player who was at Columbia Central at least 3 weeks ago. In week 1, he played for the Lions. This past Friday night, he suited up for Spring Hill. Nick Butler, with the transfer to be a Raider, plays on Friday, 6 tackles. And he, along with his coaches and teammates, learned today he is suspended. The suspension from Columbia Central that he was handed down after that week 1 loss to Marshall County has been upheld by the entire county. and the county's athletics director, Chris Pointer. So now, as you said, Mo, X-Line is now X-Raider.
An X-Raider until next year, I guess.
Is he a junior?
He is a junior.
So he could conceivably play. I'll tell you what, if the suspension is lifted after football season, he sure could help Paul Lamb.
Yeah, I mean, he has also played baseball at Central, so I don't know if it depends on how you define year long.
Well, in the story, in the story that you have on MainStreetMurray.com, Chris Pointer does say that football is the focal point. Mm-hmm. So after football season, they can reevaluate the county-wide suspension. Now, he wasn't going to be able to play baseball for Columbia Central.
Not under those conditions, no. So.
But if the county could lift the county-wide suspension and allow him to play another sport at Spring Hill, potentially.
And you know, I think the door has been left open for that to take place. As you said, Chris Pointer quoted in the article, our hope is that after the football season, we can reevaluate it and we've learned from the situation and we can move forward. So
he's eligible by TSSAA standards.
Absolutely. Because this was not a hardship transfer from Central to Spring Hill, as Bernard Childress, executive director of the TSSAA and Columbia Central Athletics Hall of Fame member, said. There was a bona fide change of residence by the entire family unit. And so that was what the TSSAA ruling was based on. It was not a hardship application. And so he's eligible by TSSAA rules at Spring Hill.
Correct. Which means that the county is what is currently standing in the way or upholding that. The only reason he's ineligible currently is Murray County Public Schools.
Because the county is upholding Central's disciplinary action.
Correct. So there you have it. There is a full story on MainStreetMurray.com and on MainStreetPreps.com as well. So we have another top story that we'll get to on the other side of the break as before we start reactions to high school football over the weekend. So stick around. Some statewide high school news coming at you on the other side. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, comes back to the Lee Company studio right after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership, And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. We are in the Lee Company studio in the Front Porch Sports headquarters of WKOM 1017 FM, WZYX radio.net, WZYXradio.net. Yeah. That. Also, of course, you can hear on our radio boss signal going worldwide. That's out on our Twitter account at SM_TN Sports. You can watch it on Twitter as well, and you can watch us on YouTube if you're like my dad, who puts it up on the big screen and makes my stepdad, who is not very technologically savvy, think that I'm on a TV show. It's pretty great.
Well, if he's not technologically savvy, that's the only thing he's not savvy at.
No,
apparently.
He can do everything else. Everything. He's Handy Lance.
And soon he'll have the business cards to prove it.
That's right. Anyway, as we're scrolling through Twitter,
as we are wont to do,
Bruce Feldman with break all in capital, ing in lowercase, breaking, Clay Helton is out at USC. Do you like how I emphasize that? Breaking.
So here's what's funny about this. Because in 2 more segments, we are supposed to discuss hottest seat in college football right now. And Clay Helton of USC was who I had teed up for that.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the short list of the folks that I had available, and I guess we were right. So we'll talk more about that at the top of the hour, so stick around on the top of the 5 o'clock hour as we will get into Clay Helton's firing and who's next, potentially. So should be a lot of fun. But right now we need to talk about some high school football, a top story right here, high school football-wise, across at least statewide. And I'm sure we'll probably get into this a little bit later this week maybe on our pregame show that airs statewide as well. Chris Jones, who took his dream job
At his
at
alma
South
mater.
Pittsburgh High School, his alma mater, the dream job, not so dreamy anymore,
Dream job lasted one game.
as apparently the former Canadian Football League veteran coach is no longer a former Canadian Football League veteran coach. He's a current Canadian Football League coach, taking over the defensive coordinator job for the Toronto Argonauts.
And this has made national headlines. Reading from Football Scoop by friend of show, John Bryce. South Pittsburgh is among the most storied, tradition-rich football programs in the Volunteer State. The school has won 5 Class A championships and 12 other times finished as runner-up. Still, it seemed perhaps a bit of an odd fit when the program earlier this year hired Chris Jones, a guy with a background as a former CFL head coach, to run the program. Despite his roots in the area, Jones has spent almost 3 decades coaching at the college and pro levels and had minimal experience at the high school ranks. The Chattanooga Times Free Press's Stephen Hargis, another friend of the show, initially reported Jones's departure and, quote, "A position came open in professional football and I was offered the job over the weekend. I haven't slept hardly since that offer came. It's a position that I felt like I couldn't turn down because it's what's best for my family. Telling the kids was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I feel like throwing up. I know people will say what they want about me because of the timing, but the people who know me know how much I care about this program. There were just a lot of things that added up and led to this decision. I'm going to be one of those people."
Yep. You and me both. You're not going to tell me that. But here's the thing. You had every opportunity to stay in the CFL. That's the thing, is you had every opportunity to stay in the Canadian Football League. There was
Without messing with these kids.
without messing with these kids. So Stephen Hargis tells us on Twitter that South Pittsburgh will now name Wes Stone and Heath Grider as co-head coaches for the remainder of the season and turn to a couple of longtime assistants and former players. Of course, Wes and Heath there.
Heath Grider, the son
of Vic Grider. So
Vic Grider, who retired from South Pittsburgh and is now coaching in Georgia. They call that double dipping, y'all.
I'm not surprised. I will tell you this, and I'm going to say this as respectfully as I can, and
All right, AJ Brown.
I'm going to say this as respectfully as I can, but my granddad used to have a saying about coaches, and he didn't care if they were middle school or professional coaches. They're going to go where the money is 90% of the time. There are very few people who coach for the love of the game at whatever level they're at.
And you know what? I honestly do not have a problem with that because coaching is no different than any other profession.
So long
Except,
so long as you don't do it in the middle of the season.
well, here's what bothers me. Coaches at every level preach loyalty and commitment. And clearly, they're only looking for that loyalty and commitment to be shown to them.
Most of the time. Again, 90%
They're not
of the time.
looking to show that to their kids. And that hypocrisy is what bothers me.
I agree completely. I'd be interested to hear Chris Jones's thoughts on the transfer portal.
I'll guarantee you he hates it.
Oh, no doubt.
Guarantee you he hates it.
Look, I don't want to be a Chris Jones hater or whatever at this point, but
I don't mind.
I mean, he brought it on himself.
I don't mind.
I can't believe
being a Chris Jones hater at this point.
I mean, you tell these kids today, probably, maybe yesterday,
We over me.
and They're scheduled to actually play Whitwell this week.
Well, I'm glad.
There's that. That is a game that is actually scheduled. It's a district game, so they have to play it. But yeah, they've not played since the 20th. I mean, this guy's been practicing.
So they played their
these kids
season
for 3
opener,
weeks.
and wow. Had they had some COVID issues?
I'm not sure if it was them or everybody else, but
Yeah, I mean, if it makes me a Chris Jones hater, then that's fine. But
It is
you
what
know,
it is.
I just you take a job, you coach one game, and before Labor Day is even gone good, you're gone. Come on now.
and the CFL season's half over. It's half over. They could have got anybody else.
Well, I don't blame Toronto.
No, I don't blame Toronto. You make the call, make him tell you no. Except you didn't. So
Hey, y'all, he took it.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, he was coaching. Yeah, apparently he didn't care.
We've got to get to some other reactions from Friday night, but that's unfortunate. We have to get into Central's loss at Green Hill, though, because this is a game we both expected Central to go in and
You know,
win.
I don't know how good Green Hill is. This is their second year as a program,
that's right.
and this is their second year as a school. So they don't have a whole lot of a track record.
Let me put it this way. If Wilson Central had played Springfield before Friday night and I knew how good Wilson Central was and the Green Hill beat them, I probably would have picked Green Hill. But I didn't think Wilson Central was that good. I certainly didn't think they were good enough to beat Springfield 7-6 on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, first, good enough to hold Springfield to 1 touchdown.
Right. So that would have been good information to have beforehand. Unfortunately, we did not have that at our disposal. Now, because I didn't think Wilson Central was that good.
I didn't either.
Green Hill dominated Wilson Central, and then on Friday night, Central could not stop the run. They had no answer. They were on skates the entire night on the defensive line, according to Lee Maddox on WKRM.
Well,
Because he
He was
told you the
there.
whole time. He just kept saying, we have no answer up front. They are just pushing us around. And that's tough to hear if you're a Central fan, because you thought the defensive line was going to be a strong point.
Yeah, that's not what you want to hear. And again, we don't know how good Green Hill is. We feel like we've got a better idea.
We do now. We know now.
We feel like we've got a better idea about Nolensville and about Page down the road. And Page is ranked what? Number 3, number 4 in the state, something like that.
They're ranked number 4, but I have my reservations about Page as well.
I understand that, but I can tell you this: one place Page will be good is
It's
up
offensive
front.
line. That's right. There's no question there. So if you don't fix it now, you're going to have a tough time.
You're gonna see it again.
Now, as far as Nolensville's concerned, they got boat raced Friday. And that's either going to be either really good or really bad on both sides. It's either going to be really good for Central that they got beat up front like they did to make those kids work and turn it around, or they're going to lay down. One of the two. Same thing for Nolensville. They got just absolutely drubbed over at Innsworth.
Innsworth's going to do that to a lot of people.
No doubt. That's why you can't. You got to say, I don't know how good Nolensville is necessarily.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think Nolensville is nearly as bad as that score indicates.
I
Because
don't either.
It's Innsworth.
Yeah, right.
So that's
That
where
that was a tough loss. Of the losses that took place this weekend, that was at the high school level. That was probably the one that stunned me
the most.
the most.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No question. Summertown, as we try to get these all in, Summertown and Richland with big wins. Summertown, not nearly as surprising as the Richland 42-7 win over Hickman County. Did not see. I mean, we didn't pick Richland to win, much less win by 35.
No.
So Nick Patterson was very. He was in their ear. Hey, Mo and Chris don't think you guys got any chance.
And Nick Patterson needs to send me some of that coaching supplement then. But I mean, whatever works, man. I'm here for you. That said, I mean, they scored 21 points in the first quarter, and it was never close.
Right.
And so that's a great win.
Kudos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kudos to the Raiders for whatever it took to get them there. Well done.
Glad to help.
Hope that again, and that just throws another wrench into that 5-2A region because it is up for grabs.
It absolutely is. I mean,
who knows?
Even I thought it was Forrest and everybody else. It might just be everybody else. Yeah.
It's a toss-up right now because Summertown with a big win over Collinwood, their offense finally gets going. Javen Edmiston, Colton Schaefer with a couple of touchdown runs, maybe even 3. I'm not sure. He had a bunch. So they looked really good as well.
Yeah.
Other games of note that we need to just mention real quick, Mo, is there Loretto with a big win. Lawrence County blanks Greenbrier.
Yeah, 21-0, big win for them. And as we were saying off air, Lawrence County beats Greenbrier 21-0, and Alex Carr does not have a rushing touchdown.
Yeah,
threw for 2 scores.
I am surprised by that. I was also surprised by the fact that Franklin Road Academy just. Let me just say this: a lot of big plays in that one, just simply because the Columbia Academy could not finish the tackles. They were in position most of the night. They had a couple guys here and there, but just couldn't get guys to the ground, and that was tough.
Had to be encouraging to see freshman Monte Baldwin with 109 rushing yards and a touchdown.
Kid looked really, really good. Really good on Friday night, and I think he's going to only get better. All right, Mo, before we get out of here, we got Charles Pulliam in the next segment, so y'all stick around. We'll talk about Summit, we'll talk about Indy, and all of those others. But before we get out of here, game ball.
Destin Wade, 362 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's 260 rushing on 11 carries, 3 or 4 passing for 102 yards, 5 total touchdowns in Summit's win over Blackman. There we go.
And I'm going with Javen Edmiston. So there you go. Stick around.
130 rushing yards and a touchdown?
Not sure.
Yeah, big night.
We got to get out of here.
Go.
Come back. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, While we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our OrthoQuick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Local sports talk you'll only find here. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Mo, don't forget that on Thursday, Waverly and White House will play at Nissan Stadium. It's been rumored that they will be keeping an eye out for kicking prospects between the two teams. So, just say it's what I heard. I don't know.
Hey, whatever works. Speaking of Thursday nights, next Thursday, Lipscomb Academy at Oakland.
That's going to be fun. You got Waverly White House this Thursday. You've got Lipscomb Academy at Oakland, which we were hoping to see week 3, but did not.
It's okay.
That will happen next Thursday. And then the Thursday after that is Summertown Loretto.
The Pegasus Cup.
The Pegasus Cup. So
There we go.
Thursday night football throughout the rest of
There we go.
the month of September. That's exciting.
I'm going to Murfreesboro.
I did. You best bet I will be there.
That's going to be a great ball.
If there's
game.
as long as there's nothing else going on.
Yeah,
that needs to be covered.
Hopefully, none of our local coaches gets any wild ideas. Yeah.
Hey, y'all calm down. Don't get too excited. No, it's going to be a lot of fun on Thursday night as Waverly and White House play at Nissan Stadium. It will be super cool. The entire Titans radio broadcast crew will be on the call. So, and
That's awesome.
yeah, they're gonna
We need to see if we can get Mike Keith between now and then.
they're gonna raise funds and everything, obviously for recovery efforts. It's going to be really cool. Mm-hmm. We are now joined by our friend Charles Pulliam from the Williamson Herald. We used to go north on occasion when he would be in Alaska, but now it's just north to Springfield. but that's okay
exciting,
too,
man.
man. Charles, it's we are 4 weeks into high school football, and it's amazing how fast this time of the year flies by. Is it not?
Oh, without a doubt. And that's, I mean, beyond just football and everything too. Like, I'm always behind on covering everything else. I'm realizing I got volleyball teams that have played 20 matches already. It's tough. That's standard September. Next thing you know, it's going to be November, just like that.
Hush. I think golf postseason is starting really soon.
I'm going to hang out at Franklin Bridge tomorrow morning for some district golf tournament stuff. Yeah, I know. It's that time, and that's just the way the fall works. It's a lot of fun. It keeps you busy, but you also don't get to sleep at all when you do what we do.
Yeah. Also, Charles,
you mentioned those fun Thursday matchups. The following one, that Lipscomb Academy one, I don't think I'm going to get it or go to Murfreesboro to watch that Oakland game, but I am planning on going to Oakland when CPA goes next month. So there's some good ones there. I want to see either one of those games. Both of them would be great.
Yeah, both of them would be great. Yeah. Where were you? Oh, never mind. I know where you were this past.
Yeah, we were hanging out, man.
We actually did hang out, first time in a while. And, you know, if you've not seen Destin Wade, you should.
Yeah.
I
You mentioned his numbers. I mean, it's video game stuff. The kid's getting 19.1 yards per carry this season.
That's
19
insane.
yards. And then every 3 carries, roughly, he's scoring a touchdown. So he's got 11 touchdowns on the ground, 667 yards on 35 touches. It's just wild. And, yeah, you know, he could throw it, too, because we watched him connect at the end of the half there with Brady Pierce, 77-yard bomb. Just
into double coverage.
Yeah.
And Chandler Tygart, the Blackman coach, said after the game, you know, we're playing against a really good team, and one of their guys looks like he's straight off Madden.
Yeah.
And that's
getting to see it live was so great.
That's what's so impressive is the difference between Destin Wade last year and Destin Wade this year is incredible. He's he is a much better player this year than he was last year, and he was phenomenal last year.
Right.
That's what's so scary.
That's absolutely scary. Yeah, you know. I mean, I texted Chris at one point during the UT Pitt game and said, Destin Wade can do anything that Hendon Hooker is doing right now.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I mean, that's not just bias, I don't think.
To think of the improvement on a Mr. Football, you know, semifinalist style year, it's wild to see, and that's why it was one of those games where I just had to make time to go watch that one. Blackman's no pushover, and they got pushed over though. It was just good to see.
Yeah. You know, lest you get caught up in it being the Destin Wade show, you know, kudos to Jacob Turner. They got a blocked punt, and he was able to recover that in the end zone for a touchdown. It, like you said, Blackman's not a bad ball club. It just kind of seemed like everything that could go wrong for them did, and they were just never really able to establish the offense in that ball game. And probably a lot of that has to do with Summit's defense.
And, you know, that's we get to watch Keaton. Keaton was in on 2 of the 5 sacks they had. And, you know, it's always fun to see guys like Brady Pierce out there all the time. But there's just a lot of names. I mean, you can get stuck and focused in on Destin or Keaton or Brady for that matter. But there's loads of other fellas out there to watch on this Summit team that it just makes it fun, and there's a different guy stepping up, and nobody's necessarily fighting for the spotlight either. They're all willing to share it.
Now, I tell you, there at one point there was one play where I really felt sorry for the Blackman right tackle, because Keaton just decided he was going to get home, and he just bull rushed the kid, and just defensive lineman getting pancakes, and he just knocked him over and kept going and got the sack there, like you said, one of his two on the night. But they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think they and Riverdale are tied for third in the AP 6A poll this week after sitting at 4 the last couple of weeks. So they've got some Centennial coming down in the second game of their 5-game homestand Friday night.
Well, and that's talking with those kids afterward at Summit too. A lot of them were just, even Destin was saying, I've never got the opportunity to just hang out at home like this. This is going to be fun to get comfortable. And I'm like, oh, you're not comfortable right now? Well, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine when they get comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. And Centennials they found a lot of great competent success against, it's tough to say, but a different caliber of teams they're facing. They're coming off a 43-6 win over Antioch. They opened the season with a couple big wins against Overton and just getting those big confidence boosts. But then they went to Indy and laid a goose egg, and now they have to go against one of the top teams in a Summit on the road as well, and they're only getting more comfortable, these Spartan boys. So for Centennial, this is a big uphill battle and another region contest for them after not scoring in the last one.
Yeah, I think the one mistake Centennial will not make is that they will not dance on the Spartan logo prior to the game.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, so that's some of the fireworks I got to miss as I was walking in there. The Blackman kids decided to hang out on the logo. Who does that?
I don't understand, and I spoke with Sarah Lamb, the Summit principal, after she and some of Williamson County's finest went out and broke it up. But where are the Blackman game administrators for that to take place? I mean, how do 30 kids or whatever get from wherever they are to midfield before the game?
I don't mind the post game if you win. Leaving the rubber duck in the middle of the horseshoe was hilarious.
I didn't know about that.
That was one of my favorite things of the weekend. They left a rubber duck in the middle of the Ohio O and the horseshoe. That was pretty funny.
Somebody said OH, oh no.
and then planting flags and that sort of thing. I think Oklahoma's done it before, and that
Baker Mayfield tried to plant one in the middle of the O a few years back.
Right. So after the game, if you win, you kind of earned it. Okay, but before the game, that's just against the number 4 team in the state. That's just dumb. That's just not intelligent.
Yeah, and of course Coleman. So yeah, we let the kids know.
Oh yeah, that was definitely.
If they needed more motivation.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah. So
other games around Williamson County, Fairview, a tough loss, but it's not easy when you're playing against Ty Simpson.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you going to
do? Yeah, and Simpson, I think, what do you have? 3 touchdowns there. Still not a bad performance from the boys. They just fell behind. I mean, that's a potent offense to go against, and they get Cheatham County this week to try to bounce back from it, but they're enjoying the new field and they finally get to use it. So it's nice to see Coach Hughes and the boys on the field out there. But yeah, looking up, Simpson went for 3 touchdown passes, I think. It was 19-7 at the half, and then it just the boys from Fairview got derailed there to open the third. It went to 33-7 right away. So it just got out of hand. And that was a lot of mistakes too. I mean, a couple turnovers. They are seeing some good ground game stuff from the Fairview boys. Layden Grant got in for another 100-yard game. Kennedy Pendergrass is their QB. He can move the ball well. Crawford Claxton, another guy that's been able to move the ball. So we're seeing some guys emerge here for this offense, but when you're going against one of those top 2A teams like that, who took was it Peabody in week 3, took them to the end. So that's a talented team. Just got out of hand.
Big win for Brentwood over at Henry County. That was huge. After coming from behind to win the game. Matter of fact, was trailing 14-7?
Yeah, first 2 TDs went to the home team, and the next 3 go to Brentwood, and a couple big defensive stands late there. Jason Lowe was in on a sack with about 147 to play to kind of halter that last drive from the home team. So, and that's coming on the heels of Brentwood turning it over on downs with about 2:11 to play. So when you needed the momentum to come right back to you, they got it. But now they have to go into, you talk about dancing on the logo. I remember last year, the Battle of the Woods at Ravenwood, I think. Was it last year or the year before? Regardless, that's one of those logo things where if you earn the win, I don't find a lot of, go take a selfie on the logo kind of thing. Like, yeah, maybe afterward, everyone's off the field. The Brentwood boys did that. I remember some of the receivers out there, Walker Merrill, guys like that were doing that at Ravenwood. And now you get to see the Battle of the Woods, always a showcase event in Williamson County. You get a Brentwood team with some confidence. You get some Ravenwood team with even more confidence. So there's a lot there, and I think you're going to talk a little bit about maybe some of that logo dancing.
It's going to be it's always fun when the Battle of the Woods comes through. Charles, we appreciate your time today. As always, thank you so much. We'll be looking forward to Indy Franklin on Friday too. Should be interesting and good. So we are looking forward to it. We appreciate your time. We will talk to you next time.
All right. Keep it up, guys. We'll see you soon.
All right. Charles Pulliam of the Williamson Herald, brought to you by the Williamson Herald, from Brentwood to Spring Hill, Nolensville to Fairview. Keeping you covered. We're going to keep you covered on the other side of the break, talking college football, reaction to our entire weekend of college football and to the Clay Helton firing. So all of that coming up in the next hour, as well as NFL, Titans, and Braves. So stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, returns right after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
From preps to pros and everything in between, it's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yow.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm excited about this next segment as we get to some reactions to college football's weekend. But I'm going to need you to, Mo, I'm going to need you to point at JP real quick. All right, are you ready? You got your pointer finger ready? According to Pete
Thamel.
You got to point at it. That's how we know. That's the cue. You point at it. An early list for USC. I'm just going to throw these names out there. You guys, well,
I mean, the line is taken, but we report, you decide.
James Franklin,
Hey, now.
He came up the last time.
Bill O'Brien at Alabama. That's a possibility.
Oh, that is a possibility. Yeah, I mean, he will have been through the Nick
Saban rehab program.
Yeah.
Luke Fickell. PJ Fleck.
Wait a minute. Luke Fickell, why would he leave Cincinnati? They're going to the Big 12.
PJ Fleck even.
Rowing the boat.
Doesn't make sense either. Mario Cristobal. I don't know who put him on this list, but you're crazy if you think he's leaving Oregon to go to USC.
Yeah. Nike U to no.
Tony Elliott.
You know, it's like the Georgia lottery. Somebody's got to win. Might as well be you. I mean, Tony Elliott is going to make somebody a great head coach at some point.
Greg Schiano. That would be a massive middle finger.
I would love to see everybody that was for Greg Schiano to UT to get behind this.
I would too. And on top of that, I would love for him to go.
Yeah.
And then get beat by Stanford when he's a 17.5-point favorite and get fired the next day because that's what he's going to do.
Yep.
Anyway, that's a pretty short list.
That's it? That's the list?
Well, former coaches who could be sought include Chris Peterson and Bob Stoops. I don't think Stoops is coming, but Peterson maybe?
He's a West Coast guy.
What else is he doing?
How is this list not bigger and better?
Well, because there's only 220 characters on Twitter, man.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
I think this is Pete's list.
Okay, just his list?
There is a name that is conspicuous in its absence.
Lane Kiffin? Because that's where I was going. I don't know about y'all. Not Lane Kiffin? Oh, okay. Just making sure.
No, not Lane Kiffin.
Chip Kelly?
He's on the other side of town.
He's a little busy across town
Hey.
in the Sissy Blue, as Ed Orgeron
blue
said.
shirt.
Yeah. That guy that lost in his NFL debut yesterday.
Urban Meyer? Yeah. That's, boy. And you know what? There's zero chance that Urban Meyer stays in Jacksonville if USC were to call. Zero chance. If USC called Urban Meyer right now, he would be on a plane to Los Angeles yesterday.
Oh, absolutely.
What do Chris Jones and Urban Meyer have in common?
I mean, yeah, there you go. Today's the day.
The
anyway.
difference is Urban hasn't made any bones about it.
No. He and apparently nobody likes this dude right now. I mean,
nobody liked him a month ago, Chris, when we had this conversation.
Going into yesterday, apparently, he is every little thing that goes wrong, he treats it like the end of the world, just like the preseason loss. And he's not treating his assistant coaches with any kind of respect whatsoever.
His assistant coaches that he hired, by the way.
That he hired. I mean, this guy's leaving before this NFL season's over.
It's not if, it's when.
Whether on his own accord or not. He's not going to be the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 18.
What's the line from Animal House? Killed by his own troops.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no question here that if you are USC and you call him, it gives, obviously, Urban says, yeah, it gives me some cover. I'm going back to the college game. Clearly, this wasn't for me. Blah, blah, blah. Now, the Jacksonville folks are already.
So here's a question. What makes you think he's waiting on them to call him?
Well, there you go. He may have already made a phone call.
I bet his agent has.
Oh, there's no question. That's where you are. If you're USC, you are looking for, and hey, don't get me wrong. Urban Meyer's great college football coach. He probably gets you to where you want to be, but he's not going to be there long term.
They don't need him long term.
At some point, okay, maybe, but also is a short-term rental of Urban Meyer to get one national championship worth it if you can find somebody who can be there long term?
Can somebody that can be there long term get you a national championship?
I guess it depends on what your hope is, what you want to do.
They'll take that short-term route every time, I think.
Mm-hmm. The short-term route gets you a better option for the long-term, I think. But it hasn't worked out anywhere else that Urban's left except for Ohio State. And it's not looking good now for Ohio State after their loss to Oregon on Saturday.
Looking a lot worse now than it did Friday, that's for sure.
So, it's a continuous cycle wherever Urban leaves. Now, they may get good again eventually. But
they don't stay good.
And they may be good for a little bit after him. But they never stay good. Now, Florida's on their way back
It's taken a long time,
It
though.
has.
due to his former quarterback coach and offensive coordinator, by the way, Dan Mullen, who I think was the real brains behind that operation.
Meanwhile, you know who feels really good right now? Bill Plaschke of the Los Angeles Times.
What'd he do?
Yesterday, he posted a column at 4:36 Pacific time. So that's what? 6:36 here?
6:36 here, yeah.
That I just happened to trip on scrolling through Twitter as I am wont to do. A major announcement needs to be made by the USC athletic department, and it needs to be made immediately. Call his shot.
It's pretty good.
It should be made by USC administrators who will show how much they value their athletes, understand their brand, and respect their tradition. It should impart the message that when it comes to leading a renowned football program representing a prestigious university, even a good man can be a bad fit, and even a builder of character must also be a producer of victories. It should conclude with the news that while there is no good time to fire your head football coach, once you realize you are going to fire him anyway, that time is now.
Well, they didn't wait till the end of that statement. Paragraph 3, this season is just getting started, and we have the opportunity to really do something special with this team and this program. I'm confident that as our interim coach, Dante Williams, gives us a higher probability for success the remainder of the season.
So there you go.
So, and it does, paragraph 5, over the next few months, we will conduct a national search for our new head coach. Well, no crap, like you're USC, but come on. We will actively, and this is where folks like local high schools get this verbiage, by the way. And anyway,
Go ahead.
We will actively and patiently pursue a coach who will deliver on the championship aspirations and expectations we all share for our football program. Listen, you're USC. You don't have to explain anything to us. He's 19-16, and he just lost to Stanford now. Granted, Stanford is pretty good. Mm-hmm. under David Shaw over the. I mean, they're not great right now. They haven't been great for the last couple of years, but they're a solid program, and there's always something about that Stanford USC game.
Well,
Something weird.
Yeah, it's not the first time that's happened.
47 for 49 points. I mean,
Stanford is the aspiration for a certain group of universities from a football standpoint, one of which they will be visiting Saturday night.
no question.
And I don't think that Stanford win over USC was what Vanderbilt really wanted to see.
No, it wasn't. Unless this is now a trap game.
There you go.
I mean, it's possible, I guess. Despite USC being exposed with Oregon's win over Ohio State, LSU going out to UCLA and getting beat, the Pac-12 is a legitimate playoff contender right now.
2 teams.
Well, if it's, Oregon and UCLA.
Conference,
Well, it's the same thing as the Big 12, though.
The conference is not very good.
But they can get a team in.
They can.
Prior to this year, the Pac-12 was pretty much just pushed off to the side no matter what happened.
Yeah, I think without that Oregon win Saturday, I don't know if the Pac-12 was going to get in. UCLA was going to have to run the table, and Oregon was going to have to win out after the loss to Ohio State if that were to happen. But now, the win of Oregon
They can
over
lose a
UCLA, yeah, I think the winner of that. I'm
Who can
assuming
lose a game?
Oregon can lose a game.
I don't know.
I think Oregon can still lose a game and get in.
Who do you like, a one-loss Oregon or one-loss Clemson?
Not Clemson.
No. But here's the thing. Oregon and UCLA play on
Right.
October 23rd.
That's what I'm saying. They can still lose that game and come back in the Pac-12 title game and potentially
Revenge that loss.
avenge the loss and get in. So either way, UCLA or Oregon has a legitimate shot at the.
They can't lose to anybody else
That's
other
correct.
than each other.
That's
though,
correct.
They
I
can't.
don't
That's the point.
think.
It's a good
And
point.
that's the same thing with Clemson. Clemson can't lose either, and they got to beat everybody pretty bad at this point because outside of Virginia Tech, I don't know anybody in the ACC that's any good. So, and Virginia Tech beating North Carolina, they screwed the pooch. Jacksonville State has made the any FSU win moot.
Illegitimate.
Miami and their 2-point win over App State, done. They're out. There's nobody in the ACC that Clemson can beat that will make you say Clemson deserves to be
Right.
in the college football playoff. I don't think they get in, period. Unless they're the only one-loss team.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way they get in. The other team that I think gets in, now that Ohio State is probably out, probably out. Now that Ohio State is not the Big Ten's best hope, Penn State has to be that team.
Yeah.
They run the table, they're in.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, if they run the table, they're going to be in either way.
Yeah.
But they've got to
For the Big Ten.
for the Big Ten at this point.
And they are not just the Big Ten's best hope. They're probably the Big Ten's
You don't think
only
Ohio
hope.
State can get back in?
How?
I think
if they're Ohio State.
Sure, maybe again,
But here's the thing.
One loss Ohio State, one loss Clemson.
then it's
Here's
Ohio
the-
State every time.
Okay.
But
Oregon has to lose twice for that to happen.
yeah, exactly.
correct.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Because if Ohio State gets in, then Oregon has to get in.
Yep.
But then
if they
that
both
also,
have one loss.
But then that also hurts Ohio State's resume if Oregon loses multiple times. So it's kind of a catch-20. This I can't believe we just went this entire segment and didn't even talk about Tennessee, but it is what it is.
I don't think we missed a whole lot.
We're going to continue talking about tomorrow will be a big day. So when we come back, it's Titans. They got a kicker situation. Surprise, surprise. Stick
Among
around.
other things.
Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
From the Blue Raiders to the Two-Tone Blue, covering the teams you care about. It's only on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Glad to have you with us here 25 minutes past the hour on your drive home this Monday, Reaction Monday, as we have reacted to some high school stuff, some college stuff. Now we get into the National Football League. I have 3 questions before we get to the Titans. All right. Question number 1. Have you guys ever noticed that the captain's badges that the NFL players wear have the same rating system as Cracker Barrel aprons? Like
Up to 4 stars. That's right.
That's the
I
same
just thought
rating
they were
system.
all 4 stars.
No. Trevor Lawrence only has 1 star. because it's his first year.
It's longevity. Something to do with that, right?
So just like at Cracker Barrel, the longer you're a server there, the more stars you
get.
have.
So how many stars does Tom Brady have? I mean,
Like
where's
12.
the C go?
I think he only gets. I think 4 is the end.
4 is the max.
Oh, okay.
It's like a general.
But just like Cracker Barrel, 4 stars is the max. I just thought that was interesting. I don't know why they were like, "Hey, Cracker Barrel, that's a great plan. We're going to do that." Who thought that was a good idea? Anyway.
You don't think it's a good idea?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I just don't understand, how did this happen? I have questions.
I think it's a pretty solid idea, actually.
Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
It really is. It's just Cracker Barrel decided the NFL is copying Cracker Barrel now. I mean, it is what it is, but
This could just be a coincidence.
I don't believe in
You
those.
don't believe? No, of course you don't. Captain Chaos.
I'm not
no.
coincidence, Chris, here.
Yeah.
Conspiracy, Chris. The Cracker Barrel and the NFL are in cahoots.
All right.
Question number 2.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston looked absolutely insane on Sunday. And I got to give all my credit to my man Mo over here, who said Jameis Winston is going to be a problem with the New Orleans Saints. And he was right.
What's crazy about Jameis Winston is he was 14 of 20 for 148 yards
And 4
and
touchdowns.
5.
5 touchdowns.
Don't
yeah.
short him.
You're right. 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, the lowest amount of yards ever to score 5 touchdowns, I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, how do you do that?
Efficient.
Very.
It's not making mistakes. Things he didn't. I say things he didn't do in Tampa. He didn't have the supporting cast in Tampa that he has now. Okay, he has a supporting cast that is, and we've seen
And
him
as
be
much
really
as I
good
like
at
Bruce,
that level.
as much as I like Bruce Arians, I just don't think he and Winston were a good fit.
That's probably true too. I can see that.
I think there's a lot that aren't a good fit with Bruce Arians.
Yeah, you really have to be kind of.
Not that he's a bad coach.
Right.
I just think, to a lot of people, Bruce Arians will rub you the wrong way, even if you're a pro athlete.
I think he's an acquired taste.
Yes, yeah.
But and
Probably
there,
a lot like Bill Belichick.
and there
to
are some
degree.
people who have to. You have
Maybe
to
an acquired
deal with
taste.
it. Yeah, you have to deal with it in a certain way, and he's the head guy, so you got to kind of conform to him.
Right.
So, anyway, my question about this game, after giving Jameis his props, Hueytown Golden Gopher, is Aaron Rodgers tanking? Because he
Man.
did not look like he gave 2 cents
Anything,
about being
son.
He didn't care. He could. He just as may well have been eating popcorn at the movies.
Hosting Jeopardy.
Less Jeopardy, more football.
Yeah.
Is he tanking, or is he just, or should he just have spent more time on football this summer rather than trying to be Jeopardy host and get traded?
I would have to think long and hard and have more than one game to put it on before I accuse a professional athlete
I saw
of tanking.
I saw a picture of him and Adam Sandler from The Longest Yard side by side. Yeah, it's like that makes sense. I guess it's possible.
That's bad. Paul Crew.
Speaking of tanking, though, who is everybody tanking for? If you're going to tank this year, who's the player? Who's the player in college football that you got to have?
It's a good question.
Is there one?
It's a great question. I don't know that there is one this year.
Right now, there's not. I mean, there may be one by the end of the year, but right now, the name that's on top of my head over everybody else is Spencer Rattler.
He
but
was
I
the
don't
front
think-
runner coming in, but
I don't know.
But I don't think he's a
Well, I mean,
tank for that kind of
Well,
guy.
I mean, he's an Oklahoma quarterback, so who's draftable.
we saw what Oklahoma quarterbacks did.
Up close
Kyler
and
Murray.
personal.
Did you see the Devontae Smith side-by-side catch in the Georgia Dome? Because his first touchdown catch was in the same exact spot.
oh wow.
as the national championship catch. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. But I don't see a guy out there. I don't know that there's a guy right now who you say this is a franchise guy that I've got to build my team around.
Maybe it's a defensive guy.
It very well could be, but I can't think of one off the top of my head that would be that guy.
Who's the left tackle at Alabama? That 6'7", 350 kid?
That's
Doing 5-foot box jumps or whatever?
yeah. Leatherwood?
No. The other kid.
He's Leatherwood graduated.
Oh, yeah.
Evan Neal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, if it's the Titans at
6',
number one. Just saying.
Can we get him to come out now?
I was just, I mean, you know. Anyway, that's
a good segue.
I mean, Will Anderson at Alabama is probably up there. Outside of that, I don't know. Nick Bonito from Oklahoma, maybe. A linebacker. A linebacker's a guy you can build your draft around. But there's no tank for Tua this year.
No.
So, interesting. As we try to get through this Titans segment now, moving into the Sunday, everything about this game felt like the Browns game of last year. It was from the get, you knew this was not going to be a good day for the Titans.
At least in that Browns game, they came back in the second half and showed some signs of life. That didn't happen yesterday.
It did not.
And to his, I start to say to his credit, but I mean, he just stated the obvious after the game at Taylor Lewan 77. Got my kick today, no way around that. I let the team and the fans down. Thank you at Chan Jones 55 for exposing me. It will only force me to get better. The first way he could get better is make that his last tweet for a pretty good while.
It's not the first time he's tweeted this. It didn't help him get better the last time. This is not the first time. He did it after week 1 last year or year before last when he had 7 false start penalties or whatever, did the same crap, and it didn't get any better. It's not going to get any better this time. Taylor Lewan needs to get off Twitter and stop podcasting and start learning how to play left tackle in the National Football League.
But he's coming back from an ACL.
Okay, then why are you on the field if you're not ready? Because he was not ready. And on top of that, you had 4 preseason games to get ready, and you were not on the field, whether that was on your
3.
Whatever. Whether or not he had a chance to get on the field on whether it was of his choosing or not, if he wasn't ready to play in week 1, and he clearly was not ready to play in week 1, why was he on the football field?
Valid question.
Especially when we're getting rid of offensive linemen
In anticipation of his returning and being ready.
who were pretty darn good last year.
Dennis Kelly was good last year.
That's on the Titans. That's not on Lewan 100%.
It's not on him 100%, but
Correct.
it is on him.
I think you have to tell people I'm not ready. But also, why is Bud Dupree not out there making him work all offseason long? Why do we not have Bud Dupree going up against him every single day to make sure he's ready for a guy like Chandler Jones? It's why we got Bud Dupree. It's to be that guy.
To be Chandler Jones for the Titans.
So if we're going one-on-ones
Best on best.
and he's not able to handle Bud Dupree, who also coming off an ACL injury, then why are we having him out there on week 1? If he is,
Why isn't he better?
well, maybe Bud Dupree's just not that good. Chandler Jones is fantastic, y'all. Don't get
Yes.
me wrong. He is probably one of the top 3 pass rushers in the league.
And he had J.J. Watt on the other side of the line to draw attention. You can't discount that.
You can't.
After what J.J. Watt's done against the Titans.
But
I mean,
there
the
was-
first couple of series, he caused a couple of things.
Oh, no question. He was in the backfield just as much as Jones was.
Yep.
But it was Jones and Lewan, one-on-one, and Lewan barely touched him at any point in the game. I'm not sure he got a hand on him more than twice.
He never got into him. He never got locked up on him,
Not once.
unless it was a run play.
So that's the biggest issue. Now, is Arizona really that good, or were they just better prepared?
You know, that's the question I've been asking myself for the last 24 hours now, basically. And when you talk about the preparation, I mean, the Titans had just as long to get ready for Arizona as Arizona did to get ready for the Titans.
That's my question. Were they better prepared?
Were they better prepared, or were they just better?
That's my question.
Yeah, and I
Because
don't
is it
know.
on the coaching staff, or is it on the execution of the players? That's where the key is for me. Is are we blaming this on poor coaching / preparation, or
poor
were they just better at doing their job than the Tennessee Titans were? Now, don't forget that the Buccaneers lost to the Saints in Week 1 last year by 2 touchdowns. So
They were, 7-5 through 12 games last year, the Buccaneers were.
this is not the end of the world.
It's
but
not
it's
the
gotta
end of
be
the
wake-up
world,
call.
but I mean, as long as you're talking about is Arizona better, you feel like Seattle's better than Arizona,
I picked Seattle to win that division.
and that's where these guys go Sunday. So, I mean, even if they get better this week, it still may not result in a win. But they've got to get better. I mean, in every facet. There's no place that they played winning football yesterday.
No, dropped 2 touchdown passes on the same drive,
You know, and
which
and
landed in a touchdown, but still.
maybe this not playing in the preseason isn't such a good idea.
Well, a lot of it wasn't their fault. The COVID protocol kept most of them out.
Didn't
And-
keep Julio out.
Maybe that's
Well,
the culprit.
that was his injury though, and we had to. But
Maybe that's the culprit.
I think COVID had a lot to do with it. I think that's a good thing that the Titans had a bunch of people that had COVID, right? So
Affected your
they're
preparation
not
time.
they're not going to have that issue later because they've already had COVID and they're vaccinated. So there's that. Anyway, Vrabel's comment on Julio getting the personal foul, he can't do, stupid, that hurts the team. Yes, Julio swung on him, but much like that Browns incident,
Second guy.
second guy every
Always
time.
the second guy.
Never fails.
But Julio's played long enough to know that.
Yeah. Julio has played long enough. Frustration, I'm sure, had set in at that point. But it cost a 3rd and 1
Oh, yeah.
that would have extended a drive,
Yeah.
takes you back.
And set your 3rd and 16.
16
and obviously they did not convert.
Right. So you had a chance to at least get back into it there, and you can't do that to hurt your team.
It's a tough one.
It is. It is. That's a tough loss. We'll talk more about it later this week because we're just going to harp on this, I got a feeling.
Well, until they play again.
Mo, let's talk about something positive.
Let's do.
The Braves on the other side of the break. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
When the Braves play, Chris and Mo are talking about it.
Yeah, that's trash can juice.
Speak for yourself.
For better or worse, on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Back to the Lee Company studio. Yep, they're fans too. Here's Chris and Mo.
Y'all want some Preds tickets? Bridgestone Arena just announced that you're going to have to be fully vaccinated or have a negative COVID test within 72 hours, and I got a feeling that some tickets are fixing to open up. At least through November 15th, Bridgestone Arena announced today.
Okay, so if you've purchased season tickets and you don't meet that criteria,
Like I said, I guess you need to check it out.
intriguing.
Anyway,
Yep.
let's talk about the Atlanta Braves, Mo, because good news is Braves have won 2 out of 3 in the last 2 series. Unfortunately, couldn't sweep the Nats or the Marlins, which you really thought you should, but I'll take 2 out of 3 most every time. So, especially when you can get the win on the backside in the rubber match.
It's keeping the pressure on Philadelphia and the Mets.
Who is apparently feeling it. Because they just lost at home to the Rockies.
To the Rockies. At home. That means Colorado was on the road.
Where they're not very good. So.
Of course, this is the same Philadelphia team that got swept by Arizona. So.
There's that. I mean, this Philadelphia, as I was tweeting yesterday, it feels like nobody really wants this division. They're kind of like, the Braves.
Well, if you tweeted that, then Bob Nightingale of USA Today must have seen your tweet and tweaked your tweet because he wrote something about nobody wanting the wild card spots.
After the Padres, the Padres just looked like hot garbage over the weekend, and it's just this is a weird year where the Brewers have one of the best records. That obviously the Giants and Dodgers are the Giants and Dodgers, but everybody else in the National League is just in this big old pile, and you're just pulling names out of a hat, it feels like. But yet the Braves have been in first place since they got to first place.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so weird.
Yeah, we're here now.
This is ours now. We live here now.
and nobody's been able to kick them out. So
the Mets have been, which, yes, the Mets had a tough road and we talked about that. We talked about if you're going to put the Mets out of their misery, you got to do it in mid-August, and the Braves did that. Now they're still only 5 games up on the Mets, and they still have to play them 3 times. So the magic number is still pretty high, 16, I believe, for the Braves.
That sounds right.
And there's like 25 games left or something.
The Braves.
I think there's 25.
The Braves' magic number is 16, and they are 76 and 66. So what's that? 142 games?
Yeah, so there's 20 games left.
Yes.
20 and a half.
Exactly.
Or 19 and a half. Because you still got to finish that Padres game in San Diego.
Yeah. So there's 20 games left, and their magic number is 16. So,
and you've got 3 games against both the teams that are behind you. You get the Rockies. The Rockies travel down today. You get them starting tomorrow for 3 games where they've not been very good on the road. They did beat you at their place.
What, you split with them, right?
Split a 4-game series.
Yeah.
So this is another chance for you to add to that lead, or at least
maintain it.
That lead. Have we got probables on this?
Tomorrow it's Tukey for the Braves, and I think it's John Gray for the Rockies. J.N.
It is John Gray. Oh, man. I haven't thought about John Gray in a minute. And then Huascar and Ian Anderson.
Yeah, and
but then you get Morton, you get Fried when you go to San Francisco.
That's good.
That's a positive. You're throwing the back half of your 5-man rotation against a team that's not very good on the road anyway. If you win this series and then you get Morton and Fried, and then I guess Tukey again.
I guess it depends on what he does tomorrow as to whether it's Tukey again or whether it's Smiley in his old stomping grounds of San Francisco.
Well, and that's a possibility too. A guy who understands that ballpark and those hitters. That's always a positive if you can take advantage of that. This is a big deal because, one, the Braves are picked 3rd or 4th in this division, depending on who you were talking about. And they've done nothing but take those trade deadline pieces and win ball games with them.
What's
Rosario with a 2-run homer yesterday.
Solaire's got 10 home runs?
Dude's been
As a Brave?
off the charts.
And to my friend, I've got a friend, Heather Williams, who's been
Yes.
on with us a couple of times. She's from Missouri. She's a huge Royals fan, and she was like, have fun with Solaire. Okay, we are. Thank you.
We appreciate,
Yeah. Yeah, good job. We'll take that.
and that's,
And, of course, Duvall.
well, as George Plaster would say, the Braves should have never let Duvall go. That was my George Plaster impression. It wasn't very good. But he's right. They shouldn't have. He loves hitting in a Braves uniform. And when there's runners on base, you
He
can ride it
drives them
down.
in.
Now, he is not leading the Braves in RBIs because Ozzie Albies has 96 and could potentially become the first Braves second baseman since 1897 to eclipse the 100 RBI mark. That is insane.
1897.
1897.
Goodness gracious.
It's not been done since then. The list of people who have, the list of middle infielders, not just second baseman, the list of middle infielders who have who have driven in 100 runs for the Braves is very, very short.
Who else is on it?
Again, very, very short. I don't know the list, but it's
a short
I
one.
did read it. There's one other guy who did it in like the 60s, and that's about it. Of course, you have to remember Jeff Blauser and Mark Lemke and Rafael Belliard, and it was kind of a platoon situation for the Braves during their heyday in the 90s. They never really had set guys, but it just blows my mind that this team is about to potentially win this division after a makeshift year of just patching holes here and there, but every
And
hole
just trying
they've
to
patched,
just trying to keep your head above water.
especially considering how poor the bullpen was at the beginning of the year. And then,
And how beat up they've been.
I mean, Will Smith had 2 base runners on Sunday. The winning run was at the plate, or at least the go-ahead run. And he gets a pop-up and a ground out to third. Well done. But I think he's converted 10 of his last 11 attempts. None of them without drama.
None. Not a one. Not a single one. So the Atlanta Braves opened the season on April 1st at Citizens Bank Park. They lost 3-2 to the Phillies. Their starting lineup read thusly. Leading off and playing right field, Ronald Acuna Jr. Batting second, playing second, Ozzie Albies. Batting third, playing first, Freddie Freeman. In the cleanup spot, left fielder Marcell Ozuna. Catching and batting fifth, Travis d'Arnaud. Batting sixth and playing shortstop, Dansby Swanson. Batting seventh, playing third base, Austin Riley. In the 8th spot, center fielder Christian Pache. And pitching and batting ninth, Max Fried. I say that to say this. None of those outfielders is on the roster,
None.
on the active roster.
Not one. That's
From April to now.
Austin Riley and Dansby Swanson, who hit 6th and 7th, are now hitting 4th and 6th. And you've got a guy who you traded for at the deadline that you gave up a low A ball pitcher for, hitting in the 2 hole, who has just been phenomenal. And I don't know what it is, but something about this team just feels really good. The only thing I worry about is going to the bullpen. It's the only thing I worry about.
And you should. Because I mean, especially now. And
now that Richard Rodriguez has shown that he's
not infallible.
great.
And those guys aren't going to get it done every night any more than the hitters are going to get it done every night, any more than the starters are going to get it done every night. They're not. I mean, it's a hard game. It's a cruel game. They're not going to get it done every night, but they got to limit it. And Rodriguez has given up a home run in each of his last 3 appearances, I think. 4 in his last 3.
Which just means that he just keeps getting to go out. Because that's Brian Snitker's MO.
Typically the way it works.
You give up homers? Feel free.
Let them pitch through it. Or maybe Rodriguez just said, well, heck. I mean, the closer gives them up and they don't say anything, so what's wrong with me doing it? At least they got room. At least they got room to come back when I do it.
Oh, that's a theory, and they have.
So there you go.
Solo home run from Ozzie yesterday, and it's amazing how this team they find a way to power themselves to a win in games that they are supposed to do that in. Now, that's not going to happen against the Dodgers.
And that's the thing, and that's what concerns you. You can get away with this kind of bullpen against some of the folks that we're playing.
That's not what I thought he was about to say. I did not think pen was the suffix coming. I'm so glad that's where you went because that's not what I was thinking.
We are still on the
yes, we are
FCC regulated airwaves, right? Yeah, okay. No, you can get away with that type of performance out of the back end of your pitching staff this time of year. In a month, you can't.
You're right. But as we said at the beginning of the year, Mo, when we were asked the question, who's going to be in the NLCS, we said the Braves are going to be there. I don't know if your team is. I still think the Braves are going to be there. Now it's going
to, and I still don't know if his team is.
It's obviously the playoffs are going to be nuts this year in the National League. The American League is always nuts because the Rays exist. So, I don't know what to expect there. Yeah. But I'm really excited about this season. I think the end of this season, this month is going to be a lot of fun. If you're not watching Braves baseball, you should be.
Today in Braves history, on September 13th, 2015, allowing 6 runs in the 9th and 10th inning. Still that bullpen thing. The Braves extended their franchise record Turner Field losing streak to 12 with a 10-7 decision against the Mets. Braves lost the Mets 10-7 and 10. Daniel Murphy's 3-run homer with 2 outs in the 9th erased a 7-4 Braves lead.
That sounds about right. Go Gamecocks. Stay cocky. Fear the beak. All those things. We're done with that now.
Good.
Thank you for hanging out with us on the show. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Same bat time, same bat channel. For Mo Patton, JP Plant, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day and stay cool, Columbia.